Meanwhile, Putin has responded to the U.S. proposals and did so today in St. Petersburg, where he met with Lukashenko and noted that the situation on the ground, as Putin likes to say, remains good for the Russian army.
Буцімто ситуація, як Путін любить говорити, на землі залишається для російської армії непоганою.
Russian troops are allegedly advancing along the entire front line. Basically, again, Putin started talking about the courage, heroism, and all sorts of other nonsense of the Russian occupiers, who simply do not have time to supply the front. They are doing so at a frantic pace, but Russian human resources are now running out, and what Putin says is not true, dear viewers. Because not so long ago there was a halt, a slowdown, let's say, of the Russian offensive at the front compared to, for example, June.
І те, що говорить Путін, це неправда, шановні глядачі, тому що буквально не так давно фіксувалася зупинка, сповільнення, скажімо так, російського наступу на фронті в порівнянні, до прикладу, із червнем місяцем.
Let's listen to what Putin said today.
Що там Путін сказав сьогодні.
Our troops are advancing along the entire contact line, both in the border area and in the Donetsk Republic, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. Everywhere, in all areas, there is more, somewhere less, but positive activity. Thanks to the courage and heroism of our guys. And in particular, we are now in a special place where a church has been erected in memory of all our soldiers who have died for their homeland at all times. But now we are talking about a special operation. Today's positive dynamics at the front line is undoubtedly due to the heroism of our guys who are now moving forward. But we owe this to our soldiers who remained on the battlefield and gave their lives for their homeland, because they created the conditions for today's people who are on the special operation to move forward and have this opportunity. Lukashenko shows his usual cynicism at his meeting with Putin. And this is not diplomacy, it is the cynicism of the Belarusian self-proclaimed president, for which he will definitely be held accountable. He said that an air ceasefire is supposedly needed now because a Ukrainian drone allegedly went down in Minsk. But we know that it is mainly Russian drones that fly over Belarus. Lukashenko orders some things to be shot down, some things are not shot down, and the territory of Belarus suffers because of Russian air targets. Therefore, if we are talking about preventing anything from falling on the territory of Belarus, Lukashenko must first of all negotiate with Putin. As for the ceasefire with Ukraine, Ukraine has made its position very clear. We are ready to cease fire even now, but it must be a complete and unconditional ceasefire. You know, I recently I told Vladimir Vladimirovich with an American, and I told him openly. And dear friends, do it carefully. You can agree on an air ceasefire. I said, yes, Russia is interested in this, and so is President Putin, but you don't want it. Tell Zelensky to go for it so that there are no aircraft. And they did not fall on people's heads. The last case, was when 59 kilon of explosives filled with bullets and so on were found in Belarus. It did not explode. They hit a 10-story building where ordinary people lived. That's why this is a dangerous escalation. It has to be stopped. Putin sits there quietly, silently, while Lukashenko says something. And meanwhile, regarding these deadlines that Trump set for Putin, Putin replied that they were preparing Oreshnik and again began to threaten with this ballistic missile, saying that they had launched mass production.
І знову почав погрожувати ось цією балістичною ракетою Орeshnik, сказав, що вони зараз запустили серійне виробництво.
The first thing I want to say about this is that we have produced the first serial Oreshnik system, the first serial missile, and it has been delivered to the troops. Now the series has worked. 1. Second, our specialists, both Belarusian and Russian military, have chosen their places at future positions. And now we are working on preparing these positions, so most likely we will close this issue by the end of the year. We do not rush. We do it calmly. There's no need to get ahead of the game. As soon as it's ready, not just the position, it's simple. Someone said that it is simply necessary to build military equipment, charges, and missiles. This is not cheap. And to protect. Yes, of course it needs to be protected. Everything is according to plan. Don't worry about security. The little Putin, he used to say everything was according to plan and somehow shrugged his shoulders, but now it is very clear that Putin is in trouble and there is no plan. And the Russian-Ukrainian war has now simply become a disaster for the Kremlin.